What's your great character today?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Great Character Podcast, episode 9. We've got me, Matt Wiley, and we're joined by Lewis Sweeney, Nathan Edwards, and Harry Bamford, as ever. So, this week we've got 3 things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to start with a discussion on some of the weekend's controversy that emanated from Wales versus England in Cardiff. We've got our resident Welshman, apparently. Then we're going to move on to our top 5 stadium experiences, football stadium experiences, because we know you guys like to hear us talk about our top 5. And then we're going to finish with a little discussion about UFC 259, which is coming up this weekend in Las Vegas. And that's what we've got Lewis here for as well. So, without further ado...
That's the only reason Lewis is here.
No other reason.
I'm your resident UFC expert.
Just for the UFC, yeah. So, without further ado, then, we'll get cracking. We had, something of a controversial Wales encounter. Harry, you're delighted, of course, as our Welshman. We've got 3 English people here who are more than...
How do you mute someone on this?
I have the power, not you.
Harry, your thoughts on the game? Do you think the referee had a good game?
No, I don't think he had a good game at all. Like, I'm not one of these. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, the ref had a great game. There was nothing wrong. So the first try was wrong. I mean, if a referee goes and tells a player to go talk to his team and then only gives him a small amount of time and then just allows what Dan Biggar said, as the pundit said, Sam Warburton said, Dan Biggar was very smart. He asked the referee, tell us when time's going so he can just do it. So he didn't. The Welsh just got to get it right. The Welsh team did nothing wrong in this scenario. It was all on the referee. He shouldn't have gone to Owen Farrell, told him to talk to his team about discipline. Only 3 people or 4 people had broken the huddle by the time the ball was whistled, and they weren't even in position. They were just running back to their position. And then the referee, the ignorance to when Farrell calls him up. I do love refereeing in rugby and the fact that they don't take any shit like the football refs do. I much prefer it, but at the same time, like, you can't just be, I'm talking, it's my decision, I'm going. Like, when you've been completely wrong as well, I just thought it was awful. So the first try wasn't right. It was very unfair, and I will back Englishmen on this. Where I have difference is I believe the second try, although it is controversial, it is close, it wasn't a pretty try or anything, there was nothing wrong with it being awarded in the end. Because I was one of the people that first thought it was a knock-on when I first watched it, but in the rules of rugby, on the initial contact, when he went to catch it, it never touched the ground, which it has to do. And also when it touched the leg and off the initial contact, touched the leg, it went backwards. So it can't be a knock on because it went backwards, not forwards, and didn't touch the ground. Those are the 2 details. Although it was very close.
I don't know if
maybe if it didn't touch his leg, it might have gone forwards and might have been a knock on, but it did. So it makes the knock on null.
Did it go backwards, though, from where he was originally standing?
So when he was running and he caught the ball, after it hit his leg, it went backwards.
Wait. Oh, yeah, but was it where he was originally standing or not? When he tried to catch it?
Well, from the original, it's hard to tell because when he's moving, he's catching it. It's hard to tell because technically, in terms of his body, it was going backwards, but whether it was going forwards or not, it might have been going forwards. But that's not the point because it didn't touch the ground.
Yeah, I think the first try was scummy. I thought, not from Wales. Wales, it was fair enough. Like, they were well in their right to do it, but the ref, just a twat.
lost control, didn't they? I think, yeah.
And then Owen Farrell lost his head as well, didn't he?
He did
throughout the game.
I think the whole of the English team proved that that's one thing I don't get. Everyone's saying the ref has given Wales the game and everything, blah, 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 blah. First of all, we won by more points.
No, I don't like this, though. I don't like this stupid we won by more, because that could have completely changed the game.
Yeah, but I know, but still, if you would take those points that were awarded to us away, we still would have won 26-24 based on that.
That's the point. He's saying
I know the point.
If England maybe don't let the heads drop as much because they think that the referee's made a crap call again.
You say that, but after your heads drop, you got back to level terms.
Yeah, I do think England have
got back to level terms. It was 24-14 at one point.
I do think England have obviously had a disadvantage because a lot of their players are playing the second division because of Saracens.
Very
So like Owen Farrell, you could tell he was a bit off the pace. Like he wasn't very good.
Itoji's the one. Itoji's
Yeah.
an awful game.
He is-
put away 5 individual fouls. Like,
He is
stopping
good
enough.
though. Like you can tell
I
when
know
he's on his game, he's very good. It's just rustiness.
Yeah,
I
I think he's brilliant.
I
but
think he's my favourite player in rugby. I just he works hard. You can't really get annoyed with him. Like just his style does give away penalties.
one
He's very aggressive.
But England have had a proven, as Sam Warburton said, the track record. The magic number is keeping penalties under 10. Or
Every
around 10.
game, they've given away stupid
They've
amount
given
of
away
penalties.
30.
Even
average
against
30.
Italy.
Like they need to stay disciplined. You can't win a Six Nations.
No, yeah, no.
And at the end of the day, that is one of the main reasons they lost as well. You can blame the controversy, but at the end
No,
of
I
the
do think
the second half and the discipline from the English team was their own downfall for why they ended up losing the game in the way and the manner that they did. 40 points to 24 is not a good look.
I think the discipline is shocking, but yeah, I'm surprised with how good Wales are doing, because going into it, I did not back him at all. Did you back him, Harry?
No, I don't think anyone did. And
No,
especially
after last year.
Watching last year. That's the funny thing though. Wales won the Grand Slam 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you look at the game against England, the amount of players that came back in the back row. So you got Josh Adams came back, George North came back. I know he played against Ireland, but George North came back. Jonathan Davies was back. And then you've got this superstar, Louis Rees-Zammit, who's
a flipping whiz kid.
Mate,
He's rapid. One of the tackles. Yeah. I don't know if was he through? I can't remember. I don't know if he was through.
But he was trying to kick it and get it to go up.
Yeah.
Obviously, rugby ball's not as easy to just.
No.
It just didn't land for him in the end. But then from the we ended up getting a try straight after that anyway.
Yeah, he is rapid. He is good. I like him.
No, yeah.
Lewis, you kind of come at this from an outsider's perspective a bit. Rugby not one of your top sports, is it? But what you've seen both of these controversial tries. What did you make of them?
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly neutral towards it because I just don't watch a lot of rugby. In fact, I started watching rugby when we started uni in September. So I was watching yesterday's game. Was it yesterday? No, it wasn't yesterday.
We're recording on a Wednesday, and
Yeah.
the game was last Saturday.
Oh, okay then. So I watched the highlights of the game, the extended highlights, only this morning. I enjoyed it. I was a bit confused because the referee described it as Wales brilliance and England napping. That's what the commentators were saying. So I personally didn't see anything wrong with it. But the way that you've just described the rule book, Harry, I'll back you and say that it was perfectly fine.
Well, do you mean with the second try?
Second one.
The second one. Yeah.
The first
knock on the
when I
Yeah.
first saw the first try, I was thinking, well, maybe it is England napping, and it was a bit like the Liverpool against Barcelona. But when you hear what the referee said, it's not. The referee told him to speak to them. So when the commentators first saw it, it was England napping. But then when you hear what the referee said on the first try, they were very, very harshly done.
It was a couple of seconds to get everyone round and talk, and then get back into position. It was a joke.
Forgot what he said. He must have forgot that he told them to do that. Because there's no way that 10 seconds later he can blow the whistle when they're all in a huddle, or 20 seconds later. It's just wrong, completely wrong. You can't say that. And that's the thing. I'm a Wales fan. I'm very glad he did. Because like you said, you're right. The game could have gone completely differently. One of the turning points actually was very surprising. Callum Sheedy, who had an awful kicking game against Scotland when he came on, like really.
Oh yeah, he was
hitting kicks like
he
swerve on him because it was from like 45 meters out, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's going for the kicks every time. I was like, no way. And just bang every time. I had no confidence in him, and he's proven me wrong. I think the Kieran Hardy try was a great try as well. The tap and go, and just England were napping there.
I was getting Chinese at that point.
You were done. You were done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been even worse, I think, couldn't it? Because Rees-Zammit as well, with about 10, 15 minutes to go, made a bit of a mistake when he was in. Made a break there, didn't he?
That was just. I think that was a bit later on, just before the Corey Hill try. So we ended up scoring a try.
Yeah, I think Wales had gone past 30 by that point. yeah, I mean that was.
Once it got to 9, England weren't coming back.
I think.
No, yeah.
The penalties like what killed the game. When
That's
you
what
take
that was it.
penalties-
You scored a try, and there was still a chance of England getting back into it, but they
You-
just kept on continuously giving away
You
the
got level.
penalties.
It was 24 all,
Yeah,
and then you gave away 3 penalties. It went to 33-24, so you were outside. You had to get a converted try and a penalty.
it was just
And
frustrating
then
to
it
watch,
fell
really.
apart, really.
It was
But like you
just
said, they were probably rattled.
But my dad's Welsh, so I'll take it as a win.
Would you say it was a good technical game of rugby? So, like, as a neutral, do you think that was like a really good display for me to sort of watch, as someone that obviously
don't
doesn't
think-
really understand it?
I think the Wales-Scotland game was a lot more exciting than the Wales-England game. That's just, I watch all the Wales games mainly. So I don't think there was really that much brilliant quality on show.
No,
I
it
still
was just-
think the Dan Bigger pass to the Josh Adams try he got it bang on. Like, as
I
in,
think-
obviously he had no one defending it, but there were a couple bits of quality like the Kieran Hardy try and stuff like that, and the Ben Youngs to quickly come inside and get to the try line. There were the snippets of quality, but overall the game wasn't. It was great. It was a really good watch, but there was a lot of mistakes.
I think one of the
Obviously,
best games for quality was Scotland against England. Scotland were, I don't know,
Mate,
Matt, did you watch the
Scotland
Scotland
were
game? They were
I
like Finn
didn't-
Russell and Stuart Hogg were incredible.
Stuart Hogg.
Yeah,
I reckon it'd be interesting to see how Scotland. Well, it's later on now, the France game and the 20th, because Wales should beat Italy.
oh no, there's
they
no
should
way they're
smash
not
them.
losing,
So,
not
yeah,
winning. I mean,
They should beat Italy. So they are on for the Grand Slam. The only team that can stop them now is France. But if
I think
half of
France
them
will win
had COVID, they might be a bit off the pace.
That's an interesting one, actually. That's an interesting one. And we'll just take a very, very brief sidetrack then. I want to take a quick vote. Sam Warburton, a couple of games ago, said that it's possible that Italy might have to leave the Six Nations. We should operate a promotion and relegation. Because I think at the moment, Italy are as weak as they've been in quite a long time.
Oh, yeah, really, really weak.
Literally-
Sometimes they can eke out a win, but they nearly always finish bottom. And at the moment,
They haven't
they've-
won since
if it's
20.
minus 100 after halfway through the tournament. They are really uncompetitive.
I think
So, do you guys think that Italy should be relegated and maybe replaced with, for example, Georgia or another team?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Italy could be relegated, but I just don't know who you'd bring into the competition.
like Europe, there aren't many great
Yeah.
rugby teams
Well,
besides the big
Georgia would be
six.
the one.
Yeah.
The other
But
Europe.
it doesn't sound as good, really, does it?
The Britain and France, basically, or including Ireland, then obviously not in Britain, but that area, France and
That's one.
British Isles, basically, are holding the Northern Hemisphere up with
Yeah.
rugby, because the rest of the teams are pretty shocking. The
Yeah.
Southern Hemisphere has some very, very strong teams, obviously with New Zealand, South Africa,
Fiji.
Australia, Japan now could be
Yeah.
considered a
Can
strong team.
compete in the southern hemispheres.
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so
I think the quality of rugby recently has gone up. Like Scotland weren't very good a couple of years ago, but now they seem to be good.
Well, they've
Wales
got-
was.
they're not even playing with Finn Russell really at the moment. Is Finn Russell injured?
No,
Or is he playing? He didn't play against Wales. I swear, maybe he did.
I didn't watch it,
I'm going to check that.
but I think the quality besides Italy have got worse, and because the quality's got better and Italy are just crap, it makes Italy even worse. And I was looking the other day. I think since 2000, they
Oh no, Finn Russell. Sorry, Finn Russell
Played, didn't
didn't play against England.
yeah.
But did he play? Against,
yeah, he did play against England.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure he played. Yeah, I thought he played against England, but it's just whether he played against Wales.
I'm almost certain he did. Tell you what,
Yes,
then, while Harry's having a quick look, I think that one's always going to prove to be contentious. In fact, while Harry's quiet, we'll secretly move on from Wales versus England to stop him,
No, you can't do
to stop him discussing even further. But he will be happy to know that the next one we're going to talk about our top 5 stadium experiences. Now we've had to narrow it down quite a bit, obviously, but we are going to go specifically for football stadiums, with one exception that these 3 guys have allowed me to have.
Oh, he did start. He did start.
He did start, there we go.
I don't know why I thought he didn't. 'Cause he didn't do much. Maybe wasn't that? Well, maybe he was, but I didn't really notice him that much.
Yeah, I mean they lost, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were good.
Second half.
Stuart
Um,
Hogg was the outstanding player for
did
Scotland.
Finn Russell get sent off?
No, that was Xander Fagerson.
Oh, was it okay? So,
Cool. We will stick with Wales for the top 10 stadiums because I'll start by throwing one out and then you guys come into the conversation. So my first entry to the top 5 stadium experiences is Cardiff City. I went to see them play Liverpool Easter 2019. Absolutely glorious day, lovely sunny day, and Liverpool won 2-0. I was in the Cardiff end, so I had to be quiet, but it was still a good day. Nathan, do you want to offer up one of your top 5?
I think the old Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as much as it pains me to say it, I went to see them play Stevenage FA Cup replay with Stevenage actually took the lead, which was pretty good. But it's just a close to the ground stadium, and it is quite loud, to be fair to them. It was a good stadium. I did like that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, go on, Harry.
I just want to add, you said Cardiff City. I've been there twice. I wouldn't put that up there. But that might be my experience. I thought it was good. I've been in the away end and the home end at Cardiff. And the away end was much more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a good away view, I think, isn't it? It's on that little corner, just...
It's a good away. It's a good away.
That's what a lot of people say, though. Like, going away to a team is a lot better than actually being at home with a team.
Yeah, definitely. Going on.
I do want to try that. I haven't done that, but I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry. I just wanted to put my view in.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, that's a good point, what you said about being in the away end, because you feel... I think you feel more like it's a bit more of a special occasion when you go because it's an away day.
When I went though, Cardiff, when I went to Cardiff when they were at home, they were in the Championship and it was against Sheffield United a few years ago. So it wasn't packed, it wasn't full. They were singing and it was good, it was decent, but it wasn't a packed stadium. Like, I mean, the top, the red bit of the stand, the top layer was empty. There's no one there, and it was still like scattered around. It wasn't. Sheffield United fans were brilliant though that day, to be fair to them.
That's interesting that you said that, actually, because obviously when I went into the Premier League and I was sat in the top tier that you were talking about, I was sat up there.
Really?
Maybe that influenced it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Thinking that it was better because I saw a crowd of however many it holds, 32,000, is it something like that? And it's, maybe that kind of pushes it up in my estimations. But yeah, so Nathan, that's interesting. You talked about the old Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the exception. You guys have agreed to let me have is the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean,
I just like the beer things. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Did you try that, Matt?
They have those at every ground pretty much now. You know what? Are you talking about the ones where they put it on?
How does it work though?
Because it has a little. I've had them. I had them at Wembley, and they do them at Anfield. So they have these little magnets. So they literally, when you press down, the magnet goes off and there's a hole in the bottom and it fills up. And then when you put it back up, the magnet connects and it's a really strong hole. I'm pretty sure they didn't have them at Cardiff, did they? No. They had them at, they definitely have them at Anfield and they definitely have them at Wembley.
They haven't Wembley.
I don't think that's the reason it's so impressive. I think the bar.
I think that is it. I think that is the only reason.
I mean, you've got to give credit to the company for coming up, that's invented them, for coming up with the greatest name for the bottoms up. I mean, that is the most perfect name for a brand that I've heard in a long time. But yeah, I mean, that new stadium, it's just everything about it. No expense spared, no detail is too little. It's just everything. It's fantastic.
What about the atmosphere, though? I think with stadiums, because what we're doing is we're talking about, right, just to make it clear, we're talking about stadiums we've been to watch a game, a football game, but we're letting Matt have an NFL game. I'm just interested in the atmosphere.
So this is the kicker. This is the caveat. The reason I went to Spurs to see an NFL game, which was Carolina Panthers against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's not technically a football game. So I can't judge the atmosphere for a Spurs game, which I bet is incredible. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was loud. It was noisy, and it was good. It feels, I mean, although it's a massive stadium, it feels quite, because the seats are so close to the pitch, it feels very close and it creates a good atmosphere, but you can't judge it for Spurs. Anyway, I'm also aware that I've given 2 and Lewis hasn't given any yet. So Lewis, do you want to?
Just on Tottenham, I think Richard Hammond did a wicked little documentary with Forbes. Did you see that? That's a good little look into the Tottenham.
How they changed the pitch,
Yeah, that was good. And the beer taps and like the beer tanks. But I'm going to throw, speaking of away ends just a minute ago, I was in the away end of Old Trafford for a Manchester United versus West Bromwich Albion game. So
Yeah.
I was an undercover Villa fan
You were the one-
supporting the Albion. And it was good. I thought the Albion away end was loud. It was a 0-0.
Jono.
I was
Simo.
sitting. He got me the ticket, Jono did, me, did. No, it was a good game though. It was like a crucial point for West Brom. And I don't like the whole boing boing. That I felt really uncomfortable being in the middle of that. But good experience. Trafford, I've been there. Sorry, I've been there another 2 times as well for the Soccer Aid games. They're a good experience in game. Obviously, they've got all the loud klaxons and all that. Good show. So
I've been to Old Trafford for a Liverpool United game, 3-0 win Liverpool, and I think it was rubbish. I don't know, like
Oh, is
I just didn't
when
think
it
Old
was,
Trafford was obviously the away end was class, Liverpool winning 3-0, but like the actual ground was the only thing the United fans sang was 20 times, Man United, blah blah blah. It's a
So
massive
You just let jealous at that point, no?
I think the noise. They were actually 3-0. One thing I would say about United fans, and my cousin, obviously an Everton season ticket holder, said he says United have the best away end. And I can understand that because the United fans were singing when they were 3-0 down, and they were still singing. But I think their songs are rubbish. But also the ground is quite open. When you've got grounds like Goodison Park or the old White Hart Lane or Anfield, it's a bit bigger now, but Anfield, it's really close and like
It's quite intimidating.
whereas Old Trafford's really open and the noise kind of just loses.
escapes, doesn't it?
I don't know, like so I was actually in the United end, unfortunately, but no, I was in the United end because my mate was a United fan, and that's the only I couldn't get a ticket for the away end, so I went with him. So I was in the United end, which was very hard considering we were winning 3-0. But I was watching the Liverpool end and it was absolutely bonkers. It was honestly crazy. I don't think I've seen a Liverpool end like that. Like it was insane. The United end just wasn't great. That's my opinion on Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean that was that when our dear mascot of this podcast with managing Liverpool. Was that
and Gerrard scored 2 penalties and missed 1.
Oh yeah, that was
And
he
then-
could being the first player to
and
score a hat-trick of
Suarez-
penalties.
And Suarez scored late on and went over, and like Skirtle went over his head. Like I just remember it now. And all you could see is the limbs and everyone throwing their bodies everywhere. So I think, but it is. We spoke about away ends. Away ends are always going to be better than. Well, it depends on the event. But away ends are normally better because they're the purified, local, proper hardcore fans. Make the noise and they're great. So like they're always going to be better. Like I don't. It's just that's how it is. I think because it's the hardcore fans. But I still think there's some grounds that the home fans are really, really good. The ones I've been to.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Lewis, were you going to offer up another?
Yeah, I think the thing is because obviously you've got such a limited sort of capacity of those away fans. There's obviously like that certain criteria to get in. So obviously those people that do get the tickets, they diehards that are also season ticket holders and go to all the sort of games. So no, I agree with you.
It's really hard to get in away ends. Honestly, you have to know people unless like my cousin, like you met him, Sam was on the podcast a couple times ago. Like you go to a certain amount, and if you're a season ticket holder, and the more you go to, the more likely you are to get the tickets. It's really hard to get going. But then once you get going and you start getting them week after week, and it becomes a normality. But yeah, it's really, really hard. But I'm going to now throw a stadium in the ring. Wait, were you going to say something, Matt?
Well, no, I'm just going to say, do you want to kind of give us your, you've kind of given us your thoughts on 2 stadiums that we've suggested, but do you want to throw another one in?
I'm going to throw the best stadium I've been to out there, and it's got to be Anfield. I've been to quite a few stadiums, watching Liverpool at different stadiums, maybe different teams at different stadiums. Nothing beats Anfield yet. Obviously, I've been to Anfield when it's been, and people say, Anfield gets quiet. It's got no atmosphere. It's a library. Like I sometimes hear that, but there's sometimes occasions like I've been to Anfield where we've lost 3-2 to Swansea. We've lost 2-1 to Palace. I've been to plenty of games at Anfield where we've lost. So like, don't get me wrong, but then when it's good, Anfield is insane. European nights when things go right. You will not. There's not many stadiums in the world. I think the ones that rival it. I spoke to my cousin about it last night. He's coming up a lot in this, but obviously he's a big football fan. So I think the ones that could ride over it that I really want to go to on my bucket list stadiums like Celtic Park or like Signal Iduna Park or something. I'd really love to go to those. But Anfield, there's not many stadiums out there that
I think that's the best on a European night. Like, it's so good to see. Like the Man City game, that gave me goosebumps, and I don't even care about Liverpool. Like, I'm pretty sure I wanted them to lose, but it was good.
going. It's special. Matt, I'd take you on a European night when we're allowed back at some point if I can. And well, if we're in Europe. But,
We'll see,
but it doesn't matter whether it's even the Europa League though. Like, it's insane.
Well, that game
Against an Estonia third division team.
Unfortunately I missed it. I didn't manage to get there to go with, but my brother and my dad went to Liverpool United in the Europa League at home when we won 2-0. Unfortunately, I couldn't go because I had school. Really sad. But they said that's one of the best atmospheres they've ever had, and that's in the Europa League. But it's against United. But like, yeah, it's honestly, Anfield is amazing. Like, one of the ones that stands out for me is when I watched us get through Napoli to the season we won the Champions League. I was there, and I've got videos upon videos of just pandemonium after. We were all there. Ale. That was really when Ale was starting to get going again. It's the season after we created it, but this was really the feeling of we could win this again. Like, we could actually win it this year. And like, yeah, and I've been to Liverpool. Liverpool fans are brilliant, and people try and say that they're very rubbish, they're very quiet. I've been to Wembley with Liverpool. That was incredible. The City fans weren't singing. The Liverpool fans were the only ones that were singing. Obviously, I'm in that end. So, but like, yeah, I'm just going to throw Anfield there. That's the best stadium I've been to by a street mile.
So we've got a nice bit of hubris from Harry naming Anfield. Have you got Villa Park, Lewis, or have you got Stamford Bridge, Nathan?
Absolutely, Harry. Are you sure you didn't nick Ale off Villa?
No, Villa nicked it off us. Well,
I agree.
We nicked it off River Plate.
Yeah. Although I heard Cardiff as well.
Cardiff. Everyone's nicked it off. Liverpool nicked it off River Plate, or Rangers maybe. Rangers did it. Rangers did it. But like, the British clubs stole it after we started doing it. So the Wolves, I've been to Molineux when they've sang it, when I watched Liverpool play at Molineux. Wolves sang it, Villa sing it, Cardiff sing it. But nothing, I'm sorry, nobody sings it like we sing it.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves, to be fair, they're owed a chant being nicked off them because they gave the world Hi Ho Wolverhampton, didn't they?
Well, they nicked we nicked the Bobby Firmino song off. Maybe that was off River Plate, actually. But
that was him.
We nicked the Bobby Firmino song off somewhere in Argentina, and they nicked it off and made it Raul Jimenez. So like, we nick it off really far away, like, and we change it up. Obviously, they've got their own style,
and they go up the road.
And they just go up the road as soon as we get. I still think Liverpool are one of the best chant making. I think, if not the best in the Premier League.
I agree with that. The best. Yeah, the best.
I mean, that Salah Mane was just brilliant. I was singing that for hours.
What, that guy that?
What's happened to that guy?
No, I mean, like, the ones like you got your Fernando Torres one, the Suarez one, all of those. The Fernando Torres one, I still know them in my head to this day. You got so many. I could sing them all day. Van Dijk one's brilliant as well.
When you say Suarez, do you mean they just can't get enough?
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got so far. We've got a few so far. Nathan, do you want to offer up another stadium?
Okay, I'm going to be the first to mention a foreign stadium. Then I'll do the Seattle Sounders one. Matt, I think like normally the American football, like, or the soccer, it doesn't really get a good look for fans, but it was good to be fair. Like, the whole thing around it, like the build up outside the stadium, stuff was going on. Like, it was good. I think that's where it beats English football, because like the atmosphere before games. But when you're in a stadium, English football is obviously better. But it was good, and everyone's more friendly.
Was it better because it was sunny outside?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
It was a good game as well. It's probably one of the best games I've been to. It was 3-2.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. You talk about fan entertainment, because I would agree that's something that the Americans do very well. And again, when I've been to NFL in this country, they have tailgate and they do the fan entertainment brilliantly. But I think that stadium, it's when Seahawks play.
Yeah, it does look like an American football.
They do brilliantly for fans.
I find it.
because it doesn't fill it out up for MLS, but when I can imagine when it's NFL, it'd be sick.
I know you've experienced it, obviously, but I just find it hard to believe that American fans create a good atmosphere. I just can't. Everything I've seen.
No. I'm not talking about the in-game.
I
In the
know,
game, I'm talking outside the game.
I know, even outside, I just can't imagine it. I don't know.
It's just not friendly as well.
Could you ever imagine the American fans with streets with flares while the buses are coming through? Can you ever see the American fans doing that outside of a stadium?
No,
I
because
think
sparklers.
that beats
No, I'm
anything
joking.
any day. On Europeans, I think other clubs do it, but like Liverpool, obviously, I've been there and I've seen it. When they're in the streets, the bus is coming through, the flares are going off. I think that arguably Liverpool on a European night at Anfield before the game, nowhere really beats that either. Sorry, I'm just being very biased here.
Manchester City didn't particularly like being outside Anfield on a European night, did they?
That was harsh. Like, because they were throwing bottles. There's times when Liverpool fans do go over the top.
Didn't something mad happen in Dortmund? Like someone threw a bomb at a bus and like Mark Barsha broke his arm.
I thought there was a bomb in the bus or planted under the bus.
It was for the weirdest reason ever, wasn't it? Wasn't it for stock prices? Didn't they bet on Borussia Dortmund's market price going down?
And that was the downfall of Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund, because he said he didn't want to play and they forced him to play, and now he's off. Now he's in a better place.
He's in a better place. Yeah.
Anyway, I've been taking over with the Anfield thing. Sorry, is there anyone? Eddie, we need to really get through these stadiums.
We do, yes. All right, we'll get through these stadiums. And yes, so we've had Harry. You said Anfield. Do you want to offer another one then, and then we'll go to Lewis for another one?
I'm probably gonna get brutalised. I thought Wembley was pretty good, but I've been to Wembley. It was amazing.
I've got Wembley, yeah.
With Liverpool there, but also I'm gonna give them props. I didn't give our other rivals props. I didn't give our main rivals props, but Goodison Park is quite a pretty good atmosphere. I've been to Goodison Park quite a few times. It's pretty good. I hate saying it, but
it feels dirty when it's packaging it.
I always said to you last week, I've heard a lot of negative reviews about Goodison. I've heard that the seats are awful, it's old-fashioned. But
really, I love.
Is that something you like?
I love. Do you remember the other day when I said to Ian in our lecture, like even with the swimming pools, I love that feeling of the old,
Yeah.
Something I like. And these new facilities, they're nice. And like, I have no doubt the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's nice. I've been to Wembley, it's nice. But I like the good old-fashioned, the atmosphere, I don't know, like Everton has that. Everton does have that. And Anfield has it as well. Obviously, they made the new stand. But I like those types of grounds. It's the same. I'm not sure, like, if I've never been to the Emirates. Obviously, you have, and you can talk about that later, Nathan.
Shit.
But like...
Yeah, I've been there as well, and I agree.
I'm not sure I'd enjoy a stadium like that, but I love places like Anfield. Like, I don't love Goodison Park. Don't shoot me. I don't. But Goodison Park does have a good atmosphere.
Just love Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
That's the reason I like going.
I've never seen him.
Did you have the Emirates?
Well, me, yeah, I did only for the Tottenham game, and that's it. Just because the flares are out and everything. That was good. To be fair to him.
Yeah. Did you? Did you? Yeah.
The Tottenham game, I was watching on TV, and that's the one game where I was like, God, I really want to be there. The game I went to was Easter Sunday in 2018, Stokes last season in the league, and they beat them 3-0, goals in the second half.
Aubameyang gave up a penalty chance to Lacazette because he could have scored.
That's the one, mate.
But I want to say quickly, Lewis lied to us in the last podcast. He said he'd never been to a Premier League game until he went to Villa in 2019, but he lied. Because you just said you went to 2 before you went to the...
I completely forgot because I went Arsenal before that. And before the Arsenal game, I was at the Albion away end. So I did lie. But I'll tell you what, now that you've dropped Villa Park in there, I'll name 2 Midlands teams. Villa Park, honestly, that needs to be at the top of your bucket list.
Yeah, I
as
got
well.
Villa Park. That's good.
Yeah. Have you been there? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a couple of times.
I'd love to take you.
What's
It is
the end?
wicked.
I don't. The far side one.
The whole.
Behind the goal. Yeah, the whole. That's it. Yeah, that was a good one. Especially when all the players come out.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about Midlands clubs, I've been to Molineux a few times. I've seen Liverpool at Molineux. I can't do it because of the way they do the flames and the techno light. It just doesn't do it for me. You know, it was before, like the FA Cup. Liverpool were away at Wolves. We lost 2-1. And it was like the dun 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 dun, and it's like a party going on. It's like, that's a football. You should have your bloody main end chanting and really getting your team going, not some bloody lights and a show. We're not watching
Oh.
a night show. We're watching
We've got
football.
we've got him
Uh,
back. We've moved on from Wales against England, but it turns
The
out
worst. Yeah, he's more passionate about this actually.
Well,
You.
Villa are a bit guilty of that as well. We have all the flames, and then of course we play Ozzy Osbourne beforehand. That
That's it,
gets us up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you get all the LA and the Villa. That we have a great atmosphere.
Very-
The other Midlands club I was going to name quickly,
I think you have the best atmosphere.
King
without the
Power.
Midland Club.
King Power was a very good one.
no.
So
They have the little clappy things. They can't have that.
I
They
think
got
it's
the
too nice. I think it's too nice, Leicester. It's just a nice club.
I did
But-
keep my clappy things actually. They're not in the drawer. I think I got rid of them.
oh no.
I slag off Wolves. Sorry, I don't really like them because when I was there, they were absolutely slagging off the Liverpool fans, and that's just completely put me off them because they were like talking about you'll never get a job, you'll all of those sign off those, and Wolves. And there's nothing wrong with this. I hope unemployment doesn't come back, but Wolves have a worse unemployment rate than Liverpool.
Did you look it up after that?
Yes.
You looked it up. You looked.
100%.
It did back then. It did back then. So I've witnessed it so many times. I'm not from Liverpool, obviously. Everybody knows that. And people are like, how can you be a fan? I'm very, very passionate about my club, and I've been up there a lot. And when I go to Anfield and all I hear is singing about the town, like the city of Liverpool being poor and poverty and all that, and never getting a job, I just think, just be more creative. Like every single club, the only club that hasn't done it, I think there were two. I don't think Palace did it, and I don't think Newcastle did it. And they were some of the best away ends I've seen at Anfield with Palace and
Oh, Palace have good fans. I've never been, but I know they have good fans.
yeah.
For that ultra section.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
We could, to be fair, guys. I mean, we could go on for hours about this, couldn't we? Stadiums, they're brilliant, aren't they? I mean,
Mm.
Yeah,
honestly,
they're right.
they just, yeah. I mean, some are all right, yeah, as we've heard from Harry. Some in certain parts of the
I just want to say about the lighting show. The flipping Arsenal did a light show
that's-
in like midday.
What I was going to say,
Oh,
Arsenal,
yeah.
we talked about the best chanting club in Britain being Liverpool, or in England. Arsenal has to be the worst in the Premier League.
When
What
I
about
went
Arsenal?
there, when
They
I
have-
went there for 80 minutes, it was 50% silence, 50% Arsenal. That's
Exactly.
all I could come up with.
No,
Yeah,
I do
I
like the
agree
Lucas
with that.
Torreira one. The Lucas Torreira one's quite good.
I mean,
and
they
then
nicked that
Nico
as well.
Pepe with
but-
the Starman.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I just don't think they're that creative.
I've also got Stamford Bridge on my list as well. I just want to get that in there.
Was it that good?
It was actually decent. Yeah, I've been twice. It was good. It's underrated, I'd say.
Underrated.
Yeah,
I've
like Man
never
City's.
been
Man
to
City's is underrated. I
Huh?
know. I think Man City's is underrated. Like the away fans at City were good.
The away fans.
Yeah, when I went to
The fans had to.
Arsenal, were good.
Yeah, but like I said, the away fans of pretty much every club are good because they're the hardcore.
But even at home, they aren't that bad. Like when I see them on TV,
It's
they're
not
not
like
shocking.
City don't have hardcore fans, but at home, I'm sorry, like it's not the same.
Like against the Liverpool in the Champions League, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But the problem was it was all plastic flags. I don't do those either. I'm very critical, but like I like the tradition. Like the
Should be a stadium critic,
and
Harry.
they sing. They
Mm.
talk about how much they hate Liverpool. They sang "Hey Jude," so they're a Manchester club with Oasis, with all these bands, and they sing a song from a Scouse band. So
It's not quite Aussie.
So we've got, I mean, so many different suggestions. 92 Football League stadiums, so many more across the world, so many more from lower leagues, from non-league. But we've got to pick top 5. So who do we put at number 5? Which stadium are we putting at number 5?
The Lamex.
Yamex.
The Lamex. Mighty Stevenage.
Oh, Stephen.
Oh, the BTEC Amex. You mean?
Yeah, the big-
Nah.
Oh, that's hard.
I think
I
Seattle
want-
Sounders.
I've
They
been
have
to quite a few.
I think Harry made a compliment here.
Millennium Stadium.
Okay.
I think Seattle Sounders have got to be in there.
So. All right.
Harry's going down with me.
Lewis, what do you think number 4?
Oh, we've got to put Villa Park up there. I think Nathan gave it a shout out as well.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
give it. I'll give
if
it.
we're talking about Loud for 90 minutes,
Yeah.
Villa
So we
Park's up
putting Millennium. We putting Seattle Sounders 5th, Villa 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
there. Yeah, as long as we're in the top 5, I'm happy.
I'll put one back there. I think Goodison should be 3rd then.
Goodison, I'm happy to go Goodison 3rd, but yeah. I mean,
I think
definitely-
Anfield's got to be first. Like, I haven't been to a
Anfield-
stadium
the
that I
ones
think
we've
is
been
better
to-
than that.
And I don't know because me and Matt have been to Wembley. So
I've been to Wembley.
yeah, you've been.
Yeah.
I don't think Wembley's that good. I think
I don't
it's
think it's that good.
too
Actually,
neutral.
I enjoyed it. It depends. I was with the Liverpool fans, so I had a great experience there.
I was the
I like-
Chelsea fans when we lost, so I don't have a great experience.
Which game was that?
The final, when flipping Ramsey scored a header and
Oh, was a
Mertesacker
game,
had been
man.
Rob Holding back pocket to Costa.
yeah. And
When does that ever
Mertesacker,
happen?
and Mertesacker played his first game of the season. And
Why
he
has that happened? How has that
shoved
happened?
out to everyone. Oh my god.
Do you think Wembley should be in the top 5 then, or do you not?
Yeah.
I think it should. So I reckon we put it 3rd. Oh, Goodison's not 2nd.
Well,
I
no.
think Wembley's 2nd, surely.
Well,
Yeah.
can we put Tottenham top?
Oh crap!
No! Whoa!
I
No!
think Tottenham to be number 1.
I've just thrown up in my mouth, man.
What are you on about?
I've just thrown up in my mouth.
Oh God! Surely Anfield has to be top. You're a Liverpool fan.
Anfield Bridge.
They have
Have
two
you gone
dairies
there?
to do on the seats. What does that even mean?
Don't
Have
you?
you been to Anfield yet?
Yeah.
Matt, half their
Oh,
sound is a
God, I
flipping
can't
speaker.
believe this.
Say that again. Nathan.
All their noise is a speaker. They
Top.
don't make any of it. Tottenham's not Liverpool's.
Yeah.
Liverpool's is
Sorry.
half speaker.
Tottenham cannot be top. You might have had a great time there. And we'll put it in the top 5, but it's not going top.
All right, it's not going top. Well, I tell you what, I don't want to knock any of the top 5 out. So let's put it honorary 6th then, shall we?
Okay,
How-
so
Okay, I'll take Seattle Sounders out.
All
No,
right.
That's fine.
So we put Wembley 2nd. Wembley 2nd to Anfield.
Yeah, and Anfield top.
Right, so we'll go run through it now.
Yeah, okay.
5th,
So 5th, we've said.
Tottenham.
Tottenham and Seattle Sounders. We'll just put it on a par.
Yeah, okay, we'll slash it.
Goal difference is the.
4th, Villa Park.
Villa Park.
3rd, Goodison Park. 2nd, Wembley. And 1st, my beloved stadium, Anfield.
Anfield, you've
God, Villa and Everton in the top 4.
But it might happen this
Yeah, no, that's the worrying thing.
Anywhere near it, Nathan. No, I would say now that Harry's nicely fired up, shall we move on to a chat about some fights this weekend? Shall we?
Jeez.
Shall we talk about the fight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship? 259. Since the first one all the way back in 1993.
Oh, Matt's done his
I
research.
Googled this one this morning. I did. Yes.
I didn't
What a
know
little
that.
fanboy. What a UFC fanboy.
Oh, Matt is the main fanboy.
I am secretly loving it. Yeah,
Are you excited, Matt, then? I bet you're buzzing for this.
I am. I can't wait. I will be.
I'll be
totally
FaceTiming
awake,
you.
and there's no way I'll be asleep when this is happening in Las Vegas.
I'll be FaceTiming you when it happens and you'll watch it with me.
I will.
Do you know what? You know when we had that conversation after
Oh,
the McGregor
Clubhouse.
thing?
Yeah.
Harry, you said you're going to get Matt into the UFC. And in my opinion, this weekend is the weekend to do it.
But it's a massive one. Like, it is huge.
Let me sum it up. 3 title fights. You got champion v champion,
Yeah,
greatest women's fighter of all time,
yeah.
and then 2 bantamweights literally at the top of their game. Young, pound for pound, the best in their division. There's genuinely not a better event.
Matt looks gripped.
I think if we're going to start off, well, we're going to have to go with Nathan's favourite fighter, Israel Adesanya. He is fighting Jan Blachowicz.
Oh, I love the way you pronounce that.
Yeah, I'm quite good at pronouncing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that bad. I think, it is tight. I think Adesanya is just overall one of the best skill fighters in the whole of the UFC. I think he's up there with John Jones. And I think it should actually really, even though he's going up in weight, I think he's got the body type that he could easily bulk up and be quite strong. And if he gets used to holding that weight, he should be fine. So I think he's easily got the skill set to destroy Blachowicz. Like, Blachowicz is good, but it's just the power, the brute force of him. So if Jan hits him pretty hard and he manages to find an opening, he could be knocked out. But I think if it goes the distance or anything like that, or even if Blachowicz can't lay a finger on it, it's got to be Adesanya's got to win that one, surely. I just can't see past him.
Do you know what? I've watched Adesanya since his debut back in 2018, and I've backed him in every single fight, even against Whittaker. And Whittaker's one of my favourite fighters. But I'm coming in with a curveball. This weekend, I think it becomes 20-1. I genuinely think Blachowicz could. I think he could pull it off. I think
he's that good.
Right. I'm worried it's going to be like the Adesanya Romero fight. It's two
that
counter strikers, and that was boring. Now I can see it going 25 mins.
Thankfully, I went on a night out on that one. I wasn't gonna go. I was thought about watching it and thought about coming back from the night out early and watching it. But I'm so glad I stayed out because and I watched there were literally no highlights. Like it was one of the worst fights ever. I watched that whole fight. I started watching the whole fight in 25 minutes, and like it was shocking. So I just turned it off.
The women's fight made up for it, to be fair. No, but I think what might be an interesting aspect in this fight is to see if Blachowicz goes to his takedowns, because he's got wrestling ability, and I didn't know he's a BJJ black belt. So
I didn't know that either, actually.
Yeah, no, that's going to be interesting. Although Adesanya, he does hold, and I look this up. I'm coming with the stats now. 86% takedown defense.
He's a very well all-rounded fighter, to be fair to him. Obviously, everyone sees his kickboxing background, and his stand-up game is one of the best out there. So everyone sees that, but he's actually very good at combating. He's fought quite a few wrestlers.
Yeah, Gastelum, and we saw how that ended up.
Exactly.
I mean, they both killed each other, didn't they?
Brutalized him. But
yeah.
One of the best things I've ever seen. That was one of the best fights he's had. I think maybe
absolutely.
And he's like, I'm prepared to die.
I love that.
His lips swollen, everything.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
He murmured it as well. It was just like, it really meant something. But one thing he said before this fight, and I got the quote, he said he wants to prove that muscle don't win fights. Now, you just mentioned about him adapting to 205. He said in an interview earlier this week, he might come in as little as 194 pounds for a 205-pound fight. That, if he hasn't bulked up adequately, I think it's going to cost him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, muscle is going to win fights. Well,
put it this way,
sometimes.
even if he does get to 205,
he
will stay at 205, whereas Blachowicz will go down to 205, then go up to like 225, 230, around that probably. I'd say
heavyweight, yeah.
On big day, on game day, that's the weight he'll be. I think if he, like you said, if he comes in at 194, he's screwed. Ultimately,
yeah.
He just won't have the power. And he might want to prove something, but that's why the problem is he will never. I don't think he'd beat John Jones because of that. The size is just John Jones will be fighting at heavyweight. Like he just wouldn't beat him because of that. Literally the size. He is quite skinny, isn't he? He could never go up to.
Yeah.
He is actually a middleweight.
Well, do you know, funnily enough, he set his sights on Miocic after this fight. And Miocic walks in 240 to 50 pounds. I mean, he might kill him. I do not want to see that. I'll be honest. I'm going to really undersell this now. I know I've gassed it up to you, Matt and Nathan, but I do not want to see this fight. I don't like the ideas of double champions. They never defend it in both weight divisions, apart from one person.
It's exciting, though. I quite like the excitement of it. I understand what you mean. They never defend it. That's true. That is frustrating to see, other than Daniel Cormier, because it's hard to defend both and go up and down in weight. But I do. Super fights are really interesting. Like, the best example of that is Miocic Cormier. That was brilliant. That series ended up being incredible.
The best trilogy in history, I think.
So it does come off. Yeah. You never know, this could come off. And if Blachowicz does I'd say he's the underdog, so a shock knockout. It could be a trilogy.
Well, he's a plus 300 underdog, which I think that's what I'm putting my money on.
You actually put money on it?
Do you know what? I want Adesanya to win, but I think Polish power is going to prevail.
What would be better for the UFC?
Oh, Adesanya winning 100%. That man, I don't want to say new McGregor, but he is the new McGregor. He's the new superstar, and he's got the talk. He's got the look.
Yeah, he does not give a fuck. I love his between press conferences.
I don't suppose you've seen his Puma sponsorship.
Yeah, I have.
The adverts are drippy. I'm telling you. Like
I
he's
love it
got
when he comes-
everything.
I think a lot of old core fans don't really like it, but I love it when he comes out and like before the Whittaker title fight when he came out and like,
Oh
acting with-
my god.
they have
Yeah.
the balls to do that before the biggest
Matt.
fight of life and then win. Like
Matt, please
Yeah.
watch that. He
Yeah,
was
oh.
on enemy territory in Australia. He did cartwheels and backflips and he did a Naruto run to the octagon and then knocked out the home crowd hero in round 2 to become
and
the
the
champ.
champ. And
I
he's
hope
from
I've done that
New
justice
Zealand.
because that was mental.
Well, he's Nigerian as well, but he's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like he is literally the worst person possible that they could have thought of knocking him
He
out.
just does not care.
No,
brilliant.
no.
Which is why I was so disappointed when Adesanya and Romero ended up like it did. You on paper you think that'd be fiery, exposed. What that was ended up being what Adesanya Costa was.
Yeah?
I thought that was a brilliant fight.
Do I do you? Did you? It was one-sided.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it
I
was
just
fun
thought
to
it was
see.
funny how Costa going into it was I'm the big one.
Oh, I know.
Destroyed.
Oh, actually, I take back what I said about Muscle doesn't win fights, actually. That's a perfect example of how it doesn't.
Because Costa
So-
could easily be 205. Like, probably is over 205 when he's in that.
Walks around at a heavyweight. And let's be honest, he's probably juiced to the gills.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm not creating any trouble for myself because everyone said it. Before we move on to the co-main, I want to tell you a little story that might interest Matt and Nathan. You know the Polish guy fighting this weekend, Blachowicz? This, I'm going to read it off my phone, but he has a little ritual before the fight. He found a man hanging in the woods from a tree in the woods. And his ritual is that before every fight, he went to that same tree and touched the rope and spent time with the same rope that still hangs there from the man that hung himself. And what he's done recently is actually take a piece of that rope off and he now carries it around with him and wears it with him on his wrist. And since then, he's 8-1 in the UFC and he became the champion. And he's got that with him this fight week. So, there you go.
That is scary.
Well, that's
Quite terrifying.
definitely among the weirdest pre-match
Yeah.
rituals I've heard in a while. That's for sure.
It's not the nicest story.
No, it's not. It's not quite. Not. It's not like Denver Bar eating syrup before a game, or it's a bit darker. But you know,
Yeah.
co-main. Out of that, Harry can segue into the co-main. We've obviously, actually, this is terrible. Is it the men or the women? I think it's the men, isn't
It's
it?
the women. Yeah, it's Amanda Nunes.
That's the
and
co.
Becky Anderson. I think there's only one winner here. Come on. Like, do we even need to talk about it that much? Can you see? I don't really know Megan Anderson that well, but can you even see her laying a glove on her?
Not at all.
No, that's
She's a 12. Nunes is a 1,200 favorite. Anderson's a 700 underdog. That's mental.
Like the dominance of the women's fighters like Shevchenko, and then you got Nunes and Cyborg for a while. Like when a woman gets up there, they stay up there and they're good and they're not coming off their perch. And Nunes was a shock champion initially when she beat Rousey. No, that wasn't the plan. Rousey was meant to come back and everything. And she's just gone on to be the greatest woman of all time and arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time, full stop. Like, she's honestly brilliant. When she knocked Cyborg out that quickly, woo.
That's one of the best knockouts I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Just in terms of like moment, shock, upset, and
So I think, not because it's just the only reason as I want to not skip over it, but we don't really have much to debate about is because it's literally so one-sided. So I'd like to go on to Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling.
Oh my God.
Aljamain Sterling has been knocking on the door for ages.
7 years. 7 years.
I think this is his time to shine. I think he's going to win.
I mean, I don't know. I think I tweeted out on Twitter, so Matt and Nathan might have seen it. You know the ginger guy that hit the flying knee on the little fella? Really bad flying knee?
I think so, yeah.
Sterling, who's fighting this weekend, made that man look like an amateur in literally 45 seconds. Grabbed his neck, rear naked choke, done and dusted, and now here he is. In my opinion, that the same thing could happen this weekend. Although, with all that being said, and I do want to gas up Aljamain Sterling in a minute, I do think Petr Yan is going to prevail and retain the title.
Do you? You think he'll do it?
I don't know why. I've gone really weird this weekend. I'm going against all my instincts because
Because you normally
I'm
roll.
usually wrong. I'm usually wrong. So we'll go
think
for
we
the
should
opposite.
I think we should get these boys to predict. 'Cause obviously, you don't have much.
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna say. I was just gonna say. I'm gonna go
That'll be
with whatever
interesting.
Matt doesn't say.
Yeah.
proven. You've absolutely proven to be one of the worst predictors I've ever known.
You literally made up a whole series and you didn't win any.
I deliberately said on Sunday night. I deliberately said Sheffield United will win just to guarantee Liverpool would.
Did you actually say that?
I did, yeah.
And he was wrong. Well done.
So you got to say Chelsea are going to win this week.
Matt, please
So
don't.
you said England. Oh, you said England would walk over Wales, basically. You said
I
England.
did, you might.
Chief,
Oh,
he also
wow.
said you also said England were going to win the Euros earlier, didn't you? Or
Oh
yesterday,
no,
whatever
they're
it
going
was.
to get knocked out in the group stage.
They're probably going to get banned from the
Oh.
tournament or something.
But no, yeah, we'll get you two to predict. I reckon now. So we've just gone through the three. We'll talk about the Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling more in a bit.
Hmm.
But now we've said the three fights to you. So I'll read them again. So for the first fight, it's Jan Blachowicz versus.
Well, you all know what I'm going to say there.
The
we
man
know
with the
they-
hanging rope.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win that, Matt?
Adesanya.
Okay.
That's a solid guess. That's
So that means he's going to lose.
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
We'll
I
see.
don't think
We'll see if the
Go on.
curse is broken this week.
I'm going to bet my life savings on that.
What? Is that like-
Okay.
Yeah, to leave win.
Lose.
Okay, the women's featherweight title bout: Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. I mean,
I'm
it's-
going Anderson. I'm joking.
Oh my. Oh.
all right.
Oh.
So you think
Yeah,
Nunes-
why not?
you're going to say Megan Anderson?
Yeah, why not?
Do you know what? The one thing,
People,
Anderson.
I'm just throwing names out there.
Do you know what? The one thing that's going for Anderson, she boasts a 3-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach one, and
Does that
woman's
realistically
legs-
help against
But
the...
Nunes mauls people. She gets close and.
Wait, let me look this person up.
Well, Nunes' last 2 fights, she's opted to go for wrestling, which I found interesting.
She's
Now,
bigger now,
Anderson,
isn't she? She's a lot bigger.
yeah, well, especially going up another
She's got to be
10 pounds,
like
10
that.
pounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's fighting at 145 eventually.
Yeah.
But Anderson's good on the ground, and with those
Jesus.
long legs, I'm telling you, her legs. She's 6 foot. Her legs are probably taller than me. Hello. And
You're
if she
about
can wrap
5
them,
foot, aren't you?
yeah, I'm not 5'9". Did you say 5 foot? That's rude, you know.
They're 5'3".
I don't even think I'm at the men's flyweight. Leave me at 5 foot. No. So
Wait, no, but the question is, how much do you weigh? If you were actually all 4 of us, if we were fighters, which bracket would we be in? So basically,
Heavyweight or something.
welterweight is 77 kilograms. Middleweight, I think, is around 83.
185.
Yeah, but I'm talking about kilograms because that's how
Oh.
you understand then.
Do you know what? I've always watched American sports, WWE and UFC,
Oh,
and they
so-
do everything in pounds. So it's like,
So
mean-
so basically, middleweight is 84 kilos, welterweight is 77 kilos, lightweight is 70 kilos, featherweight is like you're lower than 70 kilos.
I'm lower than 70, yeah.
Jeez.
I think I'm about 64.
I'm telling you, I'm the
You're
lightest person.
featherweight.
No. I'm telling you, I'm the lightest person in this call. I weigh just over 9 stone.
I'm 10 stone and a
God,
bit.
I feel really big.
I weigh just over 9 stone, which I don't even think that's scrape. I think it just scrapes the lowest women's weight division
Your
like-
straw weight?
and lower, I think.
No, 9 stone in kilos is 57.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. I nearly. That's
Might
mad.
have to do up a bit there, I think.
But I'm currently about middleweight.
Yeah, I'm middleweight as well.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm a middleweight.
I've got issues. To be fair, I am bulking. There you go. I'm
nice.
an
Nathan
Nathan,
muscles.
here's the matchup. So based on our sides, me versus Nathan for middleweight,
You don't want to catch these fists, Harry.
and then Matt, you're a featherweight, and I think Lewis, you're a bantamweight. I think
For
bantamweight,
women or for men.
or maybe you're a what's the flyweight? You might be a flyweight.
Do you know
Right,
what?
we're
I
back.
think
We
I think
should
if
do
me and Matt
like-
fought, it might go down as child abuse. But we move.
Who'll win that?
Who's the smallest here? Me and Nathan are the same height. 5'11".
I'm 5'9".
So Lewis is the smallest as well. Because Matt's
I thought it was Matt.
Matt's
I always have been.
3. So
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
I've actually only seen these guys twice in real life.
I know,
I've
that's-
never really seen you stand up.
That's
So
pretty mad actually thinking about it.
yeah, well,
No.
me, Nathan, and Matt have seen each other quite a lot. So
We have
Too much.
actually,
Too
yeah.
much.
obviously, Matt and Nathan live together. So well, they did. But like
Mm.
Lewis, yeah, we've only seen you twice, and we've only really spoke to you in person once.
yeah, I
Which is
know.
mental.
That was in the Costa, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
and you asking for where the spoons were.
Oh, yeah. No, that went to pot. I mean, do you remember that? This is a funny story. Do you remember in the Costa, the fella kept telling me to like back away from you all, even
Yeah.
though I was nowhere near you? That was embarrassing.
So quickly now, we've got to really wrap up a bit, and we'll just finish off with Jan and Aljamain Sterling again. And
Yeah.
like we said, I think Aljamain Sterling's got this in the bag. You don't think that?
Jan is genuinely, despite what I've just said, he's one of the best fighters in the bantamweight division and in the UFC right now. His hands are so powerful. He's got fantastic boxing. I don't know how much his 88% takedown defense is going to help him in this fight, because Sterling is one of the best wrestlers in the UFC, fighting out of Matt Serra's gym.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this will be fight of the night, though.
All right, fair enough. I think I think I agree. I no, so I agree that not in a sense that I wouldn't want somebody foreign being champion or anything, but they
No,
are
no, no,
definitely
no.
more marketable in the sense that if they talk English, the build-up's better and everything. So
Yeah.
I do agree with that, but I do think Aljamain is going to take this one. I just can't.
Mm.
I think it's going to be very, very close, and it could go either way. But I'd love it. I'd love it if he won.
Yeah, absolutely. Funkmaster.
I mean, we've got. It's certainly fair to say that I have no idea what you guys just talked about, really. But given that you said, if you're going to try, I still owe Harry the promise that I'll watch one when we're in the house, don't I?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I feel like Matt's made a lot of promises
Watch
on
one at
this
4 o'clock in
on
the
this
on
on the show.
Sleeping, but I'll watch two people take chunks out of each other.
Slugging it out.
Yeah. So I think now, yeah, then we'll move on. Then.
I mean, it's really, really, really interesting, guys. I mean, especially the bits about UFC that I have no idea what you're talking about, but it is interesting listening to you. It is almost a bit of a shame that it happened in the middle of the night. I don't know if we ever get any top level UFC at a more normal time.
Yeah,
Very
we do.
rare.
We do. UFC London does happen from time to time. You got fighters like Darren Till. I think Till's fought in Liverpool, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that was,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
that was
we
a
do-
normal
we do.
time.
When you get your British stars, you do sometimes. And Leon Edwards was meant to be fighting in London, but against Tyrone Woodley. But then obviously Tyrone Woodley, and then that obviously fell through because of the pandemic. But like,
Yeah.
so yeah, so you do get those fights, but it's just obviously most of them, especially now during the pandemic across the world, they're really utilizing Abu Dhabi now. That's become a hotspot for it, but also Las Vegas is one of
Vegas
the
is
ones. Then you got New York, Madison Square Garden, which only
It's-
really got into
The
it.
UFC is an American market, isn't it? So I wouldn't blame when they're putting pay-per-views on. I would not blame them. And do you know what? I think it just tells that where they're hosting the events in Abu Dhabi, usually that's quite UK time friendly, but just to suit the Americans and stuff, because they're the ones that buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they toggle it around. Fair
But
play
with
to them, though.
one of the best things I've seen, I've never been to, but when they hosted it in Dublin, Ireland, for Conor McGregor, that atmosphere was
Well, they were
unreal.
Yeah.
So,
Or UFC Manchester, where Bisping beat Anderson
Yeah,
Silva.
yeah, Anderson Silva,
I
yeah.
mean, that knits us together quite nicely, doesn't it? Because we've been talking about atmospheres and we've talking
Yeah.
about venues. So yeah, I think to be honest, that's probably a nice point to end episode 9, the last of our single figures. When we come back, we'll be doing double figures. We've done quite well, guys, to get to this point.
I don't know how I've managed to keep up with you guys for this long.
Well, if you've you're telling us that you've had enough, Harry. Well,
No, I'm joking.
He's retiring.
well, shall we wrap it up there then, guys? Yeah.
I think one thing we can all agree on is Wales did rob us.
Thank you for your company.
No, we can't agree on that. We can't get back into that.
No, we can't finish on there.
We were rightful winners.
No. Well, all right, yeah. Thank you for your company, guys. As ever, if we're always open to suggestions as well, just to you guys, the audience, anything that you want to see, hear us talk about in future episodes, yeah, drop it in the comments. You can comment on our Instagram story. You can comment. You can reply on Twitter. We're very open, accessible. And yeah,
We don't have many followers.
well, no,
Please follow.
yeah, hopefully Wales versus England.
Please.
Please follow us, please.
But yeah, we'll keep it going. And until next time, guys, thank you very much.